away.
Okay.
All right. Hey, y'all. Okay, so my name is Raven. I'm a Gold Ambassador. And first, just let me say thank you for letting me jump on here. And I'm humbled that y'all even thought I had something to offer to say. But I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I've been doing Plexus now for about 19 months. I started because I have type 1 diabetes, and I really needed to get my blood sugars under control. I was starting to wake up with high blood sugars, but I would crash really low in the afternoons, and they were getting really scary. And I saw Jessica Heffley, y'all probably know her name, posting about Plexus. And I decided, well, if it helped people with type 2 diabetes, maybe it can help me. And it did. And so I got to lower my insulin intake. I got off of one of my insulins completely. I've lost about 82 pounds. And I've just been having a blast with this business too. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about tonight is about transparency and how that works in network marketing and Plexus specifically. And so I want to tell y'all that the way that transparency works, first of all, is that you have to be comfortable with yourself. And so I like to say nobody loves Raven the way Raven does. And that sounds a little egotistical, but what it really means is that I know my flaws, I know my quirks. I enjoy the things that I like, and I'm not ashamed about those things. And I like to share them with everyone. And I believe that everyone has had God-given gift or talent that is meant for them to share with the world. And the more comfortable you are with yourself, the easier it is to share those things. And so when you're able to do that, you don't have to pretend to be something that you're not. And it's hard to do because if you follow people like Carissa Casey or Jenna Valentine or even Jessica Heffley and Rob Heffley, they have a certain life and a certain lifestyle that I think most people find very attractive. And so we try to emulate them instead of picking up on what it is that they're doing very naturally and not artificially, and applying that to how we share our lives on Facebook and in any kind of social media setting. But I like to say that people will, if they smell a rat, then they're going to be right, and they're not going to want to be around you. And so, because people will buy us before they buy anything that we're selling. They're going to want to be a part of a team or a culture that says we are authentic and we are comfortable with ourselves and we're comfortable with the lives that we lead, and they will join you. And so also I want you to keep in mind that even before you're starting to add people that you may not know very well to Facebook, your friends and family know you. They know everything you like. They know the weird stuff you watch on TV. They know that, they know so much about you that if you start to become artificial on Facebook, then they're going to lose respect for you because they want you to be you at all times, and you should want to be you too. And so I know what you're probably thinking, well, how do you get comfortable with yourself? Well, the first thing that I say is it takes some serious personal growth. I tell people all the time that before I started Plexus, the last thing I wanted to do was lead a team because I already worked in a workplace where I was starting to take on some leadership roles, and it was very tiresome. It was tiresome to have to remind people to do stuff all the time. It was tiresome to tell people to do stuff. And I wasn't sure I wanted to take that on in another aspect of my life. But I realized that when I decided to go for a team, when I wanted to grow a team, that was a part of it. And so the first thing I did was, of course, I went for a book because I love to read. And I don't know if y'all are readers, but there's a few good books that I always recommend for about personal growth. And the first one is called Now Discover Your Strengths. And if you've ever heard of like Strength Finder, I believe it's the same author, the same team, about finding the things that you do very well. When we were at convention, John Addison said that everyone's always working on their weaknesses. And so that even if you were doing better with your weaknesses, the most you could be is mediocre. And what you want to do is find your strength and excel in that, because someone's going to be able to do your weaknesses better than you can, even if you're at your best. But nobody can do better than you when you figure out your strengths. And so that's the first thing you have to do. Read this book, Now Discover Your Strengths, and figure out what your strengths are. The second book that I'm reading is called Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And it's a book that Fallon Black recommended, and her awesome team called that she did a few weeks ago. This book is all about how God has created our brains, our minds, to respond to the things that we think, how we feel. And so the more positive thoughts that we feed ourselves, the better positive life that we have. But if we're feeding our minds and our bodies with negative thoughts, then that negatively affects us. And so that's another book I recommend. Another book was actually an author. His name is Malcolm Gladwell. David and Goliath by him is probably my favorite book, but you can read anything by him and learn so much about leadership and about integrity and about character of heart. And those are all things that we really need no matter what, whether we're doing Plexus or we're just trying to be better moms and sisters and coworkers. His books are awesome. And last but not least, I recommend the Bible, because I believe that the Bible is the foundational book of all self-growth. God has so much that he wants to show us, so many things that he wants to do through us. And I believe that knowing him and knowing his word is the best that we can do for ourselves and our business. And there's another thing I want to share with y'all about transparency, is that transparency means that you allow yourself to be vulnerable. And if you aren't comfortable with yourself, vulnerability is going to be a very tough thing. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. I think it was probably about months ago. I was at work and I realized that I went to go reach for a ladder to get to the top shelf. And I realized that it was a ladder just like that I broke long before I started my Plexus journey. Even though I had lost a lot of weight before Plexus, I was standing on a ladder at work and it broke from my weight. And I remember taking 3 pictures. I took a picture of the ladder that I broke, the new ladder they had to get to support my weight, and then the 3rd ladder they got for everybody else. And I took 3 pictures of that, and I told that story on Facebook. And it was a little embarrassing, but because I was so vulnerable with that, people cheered for me. People were excited about the transformation I was going through. And I want you to think about that. Like, whenever you see people talk about tough times, not complain about tough times, but talk about tough times, tough things that they've been through. Haven't you wanted to just cheer for them and root them on a little bit more? People will do that for you. And because everyone has a story that's different, your vulnerability might be a little different. But the vulnerability is that, you know what, I've been through something. I've gone through some things. I've done some things I'm not proud of. But I want to share that with you all because I want to help you. I want to teach you something. I want to show you that your life isn't always going to be the same. And so vulnerability, especially when you're on a social media platform, is huge. And so another thing I want to talk about is probably the last thing. I didn't mean to fly through this, but sometimes I talk too fast. But the last thing about transparency is that in this business, because network marketing is about relationships, you always want to be the most authentic self you can be, because you aren't just building a business. What you are is building relationships. And I shared this on a video and a team call I did for Tamara Holloway a few months ago. And my retail background has helped me a lot in network marketing, but it didn't prepare me for the relationship building aspect, because at my store, I don't have to be transparent. People come in, they want a book or a Bible or a Christian t-shirt. I show them those things. I might joke with them a little bit, but I have to get to know them. And that sounds really awful, but even I do know a lot of the customers, because I've worked for the same business for 4.5 years. I know many of them, and we've gotten to be friends. But for the most part, the customer comes in, I show them the stuff. The experience in the store is how I get them to buy the stuff. In network marketing, your relationship is how you get them to even want the experience that you have. And so if you aren't building a relationship with people and you're not being transparent with the things that you think or you feel, you will have a very hard time getting people to say, you know what? Me too. I want what you have. I want to live the way you live. And Carissa Casey is fantastic, and she has a great call about that, where it's not that you're trying to give them a false sense that your life is so fabulous, but it's like just know who you are and that people want to join along in that. And so that is why I say transparency is probably the number one key to making sure that we have a business that survives and that thrives. Because once they join you, you don't turn off the transparency. Then you have people that you share those troubles with. Leading a team is hard work. And I have some level ones on my team that have become my best friends in business, because I can talk with them, we share ideas, and I can tell them the things that really bother me or things that overwhelm me, and they're right there beside me. But I wouldn't have that if I turned off the transparency and the vulnerability and decided not to build a relationship with them. Because that is probably the most important thing that I can share with you all about that. So as difficult as it can be, strive to be transparent on Facebook, in real life, your friends, your family, with strangers. Be transparent and be authentic with yourself. And that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, or if you want me to elaborate on anything else, I'd be happy to.
What were the books that you recommended? I didn't get to write them down.
Oh, okay, yeah. The first one is called Now Discover Your Strengths, and it is by Donald D. Clifton is one of the authors. I had to look on my bookcase just then.
And then what was the other one?
It's Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf, and Anything by Malcolm Gladwell, David and Goliath in particular.
You said Gladwell?
Yeah, Gladwell.
Okay. Do you have any other books that you recommend besides those two? I know there's like, obviously when we go to convention or wherever we go, they always have like the top 5 that everybody's pretty much read, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, it was written in the early, like, turn of the century, 20th century. But all of those values in there that Dale Carnegie writes about apply, especially about being transparent and about having character of self.
And it was How to Win Friends and Influence Others?
Influence People, yeah. And then there's another book, I have it right here. It's called Moments of Impact. And I actually just bought it on Saturday. I found it at Hastings. And it is by Lisa Kalaman or something like that. I can't really read it. But it's about having conversations with people that matter. And so what happens with a lot of people is that they get stuck in small talk, and they really want to share something important, but they don't know how to get to there. And that book helps with that. That book helps you break through with just the small talk chitter chatter to really opening up and talking about important things that matter to one another.
I could use that book.
It's a good one. And I found it by accident on Saturday when we got back from convention.
Okay. And then I haven't heard of her, Carissa Casey. Is she a diamond, or is she just somebody that you follow on Facebook?
She's an emerald. She's an emerald, about to be sapphire. And she does plexus, obviously. And she also has a food blog. And she's done some really cool things with that. And in fact, doing the blog was how she learned how to interact on Facebook with people and how to show that you can have an authentic self in social media. And she's just a really cool chick all around. I just really love being around her. And I've learned a lot just kind of with her influence.
Okay. Does she do a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff?
She does.
Okay. Do you have anybody else that I always like to ask people that you follow on YouTube, like videos that you like to watch?
Yeah. Well, of course, obviously, I love a lot of the videos that Sarah Marble does, mostly because I love some of her videos, especially because some of her boys were still really little when she made them a couple of years ago. And she really showed what it was like to be a mom doing this business, because she would have to cut out of the video because her son needed to go take a nap. And then she'd come back. and you learn so much from her, but then she's just like, this is my real life. And she's not afraid to show that. But another person that I like to follow, I don't know if she does a lot of YouTube videos, but she's very present on Facebook. And that is Sunny Rogers.
Oh, yes.
I love Sunny.
I don't know if she does YouTube videos, but yeah, I follow her on Facebook, and I saw her several times at convention. She was one of the people that I wanted to go say hi to, but I could never get in the vicinity to where she was at, but I saw her. And yeah, I guess I haven't seen her on YouTube, but I definitely follow her a lot on Facebook.
Yeah, she's definitely one that you want to follow, and you can learn a lot from just by the way she is. Like, and I'm just really glad that I've gotten to know her as a friend, and she's just exactly the way she is on Facebook. She is in person. And so to me, she's like the total epitome of how you have like that kind of life. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't affect everything in real life for her. Like, she doesn't have a big head or anything. And I really love that.
Okay.
And then another person that I like to follow is, I like to find some of the man ambassadors just to have that different point of view. Mm-hmm. And Blake Krogel, he's a senior gold ambassador for the Chicago area. And he is a complete rascal, but he has made a complete health change, and that health change has also given him some perspective about personal growth too, because he started taking that very seriously. Again, I don't know if he's on YouTube or not. He probably is, actually, if I know Blake. But
what's his last name?
But I don't know that he does. Huh?
What's his last name?
Krogel. Krogull.
Yeah, I think I met him. Candy, are you on there? I think we both met him. He was at the front of the line when we were trying to get into the concert. He had a cowboy hat on.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me that he made it to the front of the line.
Yes, he's quite a character. And he added me on Facebook, actually, when I got back. I didn't realize. I just looked him up. It was him. Friend requested me days ago. So
yeah, and he's someone that I like him a lot, especially for the guys on my team have really looked up to him. But I believe that he can teach you a lot because he is who he is all the time, and he is just not afraid to show it. And sometimes it's a little much, but it's authentically him.
Oh yeah, I checked out his Facebook. He's made a very big life. I mean, he looks completely different than he did several months ago, and he has a lot of.
I believe he's lost almost 100 pounds.
Yeah, it's insane how I didn't even recognize his before picture because his hair is and he's lost a lot of weight. So, but I looked through his stuff, and he has a lot of good posts. And he's authentic.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's good to know. And so, and usually when you're looking at people like Carissa or Sunny or Blake, you can find other people that you notice that they've built a relationship with. And sometimes I like to click through their friends list and just kind of see like who they're following and who they're friends with. Mostly because you don't realize how many different walks of life people go through. Like, I work at a Christian bookstore, and most people would never see that coming. But it's like I work at a Christian bookstore, and I go to heavy metal shows, and so my circle is quite a bit different from a lot of other people's. But that's probably the best thing I've really learned about Plexus, and I love about Plexus is that I get to meet different people. And I don't know, I'm just getting to learn a lot of different things about myself and about network marketing. It's all really new for most of us, but it's been really fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, Candy, do you have any questions or anything you want to say before we get off here?
Oh, I'm good.
All right, well, you're really fuzzy. Well, everything's been recorded, so I know I have a lot of people in different time zones. So it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But they always
Well, that's the really great thing about getting to record.
yeah. And a lot of them
Yeah.
are really excited that I record it, and so they will probably watch it first thing in the morning. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited to share, especially the books, because we are all book readers, and any books, or I know any books I can get my hand on. I have Audible, and I'm always downloading books and listening to them in my car. So I'll download these and
I
start.
go through 2 to 3 books a day.
Wow.
And so
Dang.
I've always been a reader. And so that was probably the best thing about this was like now I had something new to learn.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, anytime they recommend a book, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. We don't have anything else. We appreciate you being on the call, and we're excited to filter it out to all our other teammates because it's a lot of great information. So we really appreciate you being on the call.
Oh, anytime. I appreciate you asking me, and y'all have a good night, and I hope you get to feeling better.
Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you at Leaders Retreat.
I'll be there with bells on.
All right. See you then.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.